Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Patrick,
And I'm Paul.
and we're doing the Joker. That's right, everybody's got an opinion, we're going to give you ours.
So we do videos every Tuesday and Thursday. On a Tuesday we do our rapid reviews and our mini trivias, and on Thursdays we do take a bigger dive into some of the interesting moments, movie reviews, and a lot of other stuff in the entertainment industry. So if you like that, like, subscribe, share, ring that notification bell, and comment down below.
Yeah, if you like it, stick with us, we've got plenty more. Right now, we really do have an opinion about the Joker. But I think before we give ours, we should probably talk about not the phenomenon, but the moment that the Joker's having. To quickly run through how it all kind of fell apart or fell into place. The Joker got people knew it was coming. There was a lot of talk about it, but it wasn't exactly setting the world on fire.
No.
First trailer came out and people were like, ooh, looks interesting, I'm kind of excited. Then it hit, I think it was the Toronto International Film Festival. I can't remember which film festival where the first big good reviews came out. And people were talking Oscar. It got Oscar buzz already. Then it became slightly more sinister for me. Because in the run-up to the actual release, particularly the release week, all of a sudden the tone shifted to... And I think the second trailer, which we've done a video about, the second trailer really did lead people down the path of, oh, this looks like it could be quite intense.
Yeah.
And have a little bit of social commentary. In the run-up to the release, the media coverage of, the incels are going to show up and kill everybody in all the theatres, it wasn't helpful and it wasn't healthy, and thankfully it didn't come to pass. But it was just a little bit weird that was the air that was set before the film.
Yeah. No, definitely. It seemed like the media kind of took on a scare tactic for around this movie.
Yeah, it felt like there was an appetite for something to go wrong too, which is troubling, worrying, and disgusting. And also, in light of the film that we're going to talk about, it's quite ironic that, or quite telling that the film kind of covers a lot of that part of society. So, look, the film came out. It's been a commercial success. It's making money hand over fist. It's going to break records for the block that it was released in, the time year it was released, and it's going to be, pound for pound, percentage wise, it's going to make kind of Avengers, Infinity War sort of profit levels. Of spend versus return. So artistically, also a triumph, I think. Critically, it's been fairly well received. So now we're entering that phase where everybody turns on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we've waited until now, till it all settled down, and wait for the sharks to start swimming in the water before we jumped in with our opinion.
Yeah. So if you want to know, which get some of our pre-movie ideas and stuff like that, concerns and wants and feelings about it, we did a trailer, which we linked right above me, from there, we're now going to talk about the film.
Yeah, our trailer review is actually worth a watch as a companion piece to this, because we had different hopes and dreams and different concerns, I guess. My hope, I was really digging it. The trailers really lit me on fire. You slightly less so, and you had very valid concerns at the time.
Yeah.
What I was really hoping and what I saw was that this was going to be a Joker film that wasn't too closely tied to Batman. This was going to be taking the Joker as not the Joker from the comics, not the Joker from anywhere. This was going to be their own telling of a Joker story. And I particularly liked, the red end of the nose. It was a real... I can even see that this is a new Joker, that this is their Joker, that this is the story they're going to tell. And that was my big hope. Now, they kept up their side of the bargain for me on that, for the most part. What about you, from that initial thoughts you had before seeing it?
Yeah, my initial thoughts was, personally, they were taking a lot. It seemed from the trailers that they were taking a lot of the origin story from the Jokers from the comic books, and I was concerned that they would take too much, that they wouldn't be able to essentially put their own kind of piece on it or feeling on it, kind of thing, their own touch on it, which is that it was just going to be origin story from comic books. They took enough. I will say that they did take enough. There's a lot of tones. There's a lot of parts in there that are very Joker-esque. which is, but they did make it their own. A lot of it is their own, and it's a really interesting piece. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I originally was very, very kind of hesitant towards this film.
I think you were cautious more than skeptical, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I remember you like warning me to, okay, I can see you're excited. Just it could possibly go the way you want, Patrick.
Yeah.
But it could also go the way that you feared. And if it had gone the way that you feared, I think I would have been just as upset, if not maybe more upset. But I think for both of us, it went well. Like it did avoid the big pitfalls that we were both worried about.
Yeah, like they used enough from the Joker stories that I was happy with, and as you said, they made it enough of their own as a kind of a standalone story, so that it was kind of outside the realms of the DC universe kind of stuff, which is nice because we were talking about the experiments as well.
Yes,
DC experiments with all their stuff, all their formats and everything like that, and this is the perfect reason why we like them doing it, because they can bring out some garbage films, but they can also bring out some golden like films as well.
And the fact that they're not just we did bring that up. That was one point. They're doing different. They're doing different, not just to Marvel, but they're doing different to themselves. Shazam is a completely different film to Batman versus Superman, which is a completely different film to Wonder Woman, which is a completely different film to Aquaman. A Joker is very different to all of those. The more different they get and the further apart they get, the happier I am and the happier I'll be. I'm kind of happy with that, them doing the spread of we're going to try and do our own artistic pieces, which is why I'm not crazy into sequels. We may as well get it out right now. I came out of the Joker going, oh, please never make a sequel to that. That'll be wonderfully single standalone. I know that's not the most popular opinion, and I've been literally shouted at for saying that already by someone. But I still maintain this is good.
Yeah, no, it is. It is good, and I do agree with you. This is like I can go both ways with sequels. I like sequels in certain ways, but this particular film, if it's not ever followed up, if it's followed up by something different, as in like it's in the world of Joker, but doesn't have anything to do with the things that are done in Joker, I'd be perfectly happy with it.
That's an interesting take.
You could take it with the styles and everything like that, and kind of the more realism and everything, but nothing. It doesn't go like a newspaper doesn't show Joker rises, or you know family killed, and you know.
Well, let's jump into the film itself. So hopefully some of you are actually watching this because you want our opinion. Some of you are just watching it to hear another opinion, and I think ours will be slightly different to some of the ones I've seen.
It will be. I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so, because we're both, as you can all tell, we're both positive about it. But there are negatives, and I want to maybe start with some of the negatives, because for me, sorry, you please.
Just one thing. This is a spoiler review. We will be talking about spoilers in the thing. This is going to be the spoiler warning right here.
There you go.
So yeah, if you don't want to hear anything about this, go back to the trailer that we're talking about. Go watch the film, then come back and watch this piece. That'll be great.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a thank you for the housekeeping. I'm going to jump into the negatives with the biggest and easiest and most obvious and the gimme for it all, and that is Murder Alley, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how many times we've seen Bruce Wayne lose his parents now.
Yeah.
It's probably too many, but in this film, it was a particular problem for me, because it didn't need to be there for the film that was happening. They had already connected themselves to the Batman world enough, in fact, too much for my liking. I wouldn't have minded if, the Wayne family weren't the Wayne family, and they had just been there as an allegorical and story device as they were. I understand that your connection to Bruce, and look, I giggled when the Bruce kid comes down the pole. I was like, oh, nice. He slides down it's the bat pole in his backyard. But the creation of Batman, the killing of his parents in front of him, it didn't service the Joker story at all. It's the one part of the Wayne connection that didn't service the Joker at all. It was purely indulgent, purely for Batman, purely for Wayne, purely for look at what we're showing you. Because he doesn't know what happened. It doesn't help the Joker story at all. It doesn't affect or change the Joker story.
Like I think that was put in place for two reasons. It was to quash the diehard fans who are just like, why didn't we get any Batman stuff?
Yeah.
And also to set it for people who may not be more familiar with this series, because you've said this as well.
Yeah, that's
That it was more to set it into the timeline of where Batman and stuff like that. My piece on it is very similar to yours. I don't think the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne should have been in it at all. I think they could have stopped at just because if they were trying to put it into the world with Batman, they've already done that with Thomas Wayne being heavily involved, and also with Bruce Wayne and a possible Alfred.
The Alfred, the heavy down at the gates. I'll comment below if you think that was Alfred or just another staff member.
Yeah. But if this was if the murder of those two people were essentially to quash people like me and further into the Batman series, the Mask of Zorro.
The fact that they came out of the movie,
that would have been. You don't even need to show them coming out. Just show the plaque, the title of the movie. Just show the Mask of Zorro. That's it. That's all you had to do. And then people like me and people who were further into the comic books would have just gone, I know where this is. And set now.
I'm on the cusp of, and we keep talking about left and right here on I'm so far to the, I'm in the middle and you're in the middle on that side. Insofar as you're the more comic book expert with more in-depth knowledge. I have my knowledge, but I also can play the dopey average cinema goer that much easier when it comes to comic book movies. Mm-hmm. But for me, even that was enough.
Yeah,
because I'm close enough to that side, and it would have been really nice. I would have actually enjoyed that nod, whereas I didn't enjoy it when I knew the scene was not a short one. No. When I knew there was, they're turning down now. Oh, I can see. Oh, no. Pearls are flying in the air again. Yeah. Did you say Martha?
I will have to say, out of all the ones that have been done, like, this was one of the nicer ones that was done. I will give them that. It was a nice scene of the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Yeah, points for execution.
Did not need to be there.
No. So now that big kind of gripe is out of the way, sorry,
I have no other negatives. I can think of right now, which is I think just the Batman scene.
Yeah, and I think that's if I was going to change one thing, that would be the one thing I would change. Now, could you maybe say that if that was taken out, would where do you stand with the Waynes? I enjoyed that subplot of is he. That's why I enjoyed it was the Waynes. The idea that he could be a half brother to Bruce is kind of that was compelling, I thought.
Yeah.
And because of that whole both sides of the same coin thing, that not exactly, but that idea between Batman and the Joker, it played nicely, and it played nicely into Batman lore for me. Yeah. Again, that's as far into Batman lore as I wanted to go, because the rest of this video, what I'd like to talk about is the Joker. Mm-hmm. And this Joker, Arthur Fleck, the idea that he's a guy with mental issues. Let's just put it that way. Everybody's wanted to label this as different things. There's definitely issues, just to give it a broad term. But the telling of his story and the view on society they used while telling his story was hugely compelling for me.
Yeah, no, definitely agreed. Yeah, no, like the art, it's a great commentary on it. We'll probably swing back to this as well, but yeah, it's a great compelling way of portraying that character, which is like he has issues, but as I said, we're going to swing back to that. Which, if you, for the first showing kind of thing, I guess would be, it's a very interesting kind of breakdown of a character that slowly gets trodden down, slowly gets done by everything. Everything's grimy. Gotham City is such a oppressive place kind of thing. Yeah. Everybody's living on top of each other. Some places are really grimy and stuff like that. It's like, it is a powder cake ready to explode. And it's nice to see one character who seems to go to the length that he does. Yeah. Kind of thing. So I very much enjoyed the Joker's kind of aesthetic and nice atmosphere, not nice atmosphere, but the atmosphere that they tried and everything.
And they set the character up well, like the world they built. That's New York. Let's face it, circa late 70s New York. It's Gotham. Everybody, yeah. That idea of turn of the 80s Gotham, New York. Super rats, whatever. That kind of very typical stuff. It was, production wise, it was great. Like, they set the tone. They added to that tone wonderfully with the score, not just the soundtrack, because that'll come up later, I guess. But the score, there was tuning of violins, there was strings under tension. It was pervasive for the first quarter of the film, and I thought it was fantastic. But while they're doing all that, they're giving you bits and pieces of the character. They were opening out the Arthur character. They were showing you a compassionate person when he was going back to his mother to look after her. They were showing his vulnerabilities, his frailties, his hopes, his dreams, how he viewed society. But then, and I think we've got to get to it, then there is the turn or the twist that we're viewing this through his lens. And then they kind of go, oh, what if his lens was completely cracked?
Yeah.
And what you were seeing wasn't real.
Yeah, so like the part that we're talking about is there's a key moment in the film where we've been introduced to a female character that lives down the hallway from the Joker, from Arthur Fleck, and there seems to be a relationship kind of started off. Which is, the key moment is that it turns out that the relationship that we've seen is completely fictional. It is a delusion done by Arthur Fleck, which like Patrick got me onto this, which is like, I know that Patrick always says that, like, you know, I come up with ideas that kind of set him off onto a huge big spiral. This was the biggest spiral that I got from him, which was the key moment of realization that the relationship between Arthur and that the character, the female character, was actually opening up the fact that everything we've seen from up to that point could have been completely delusional, completely his way of telling the story. As in all the things that have horribly happened to him. The part that you told me was the sign.
Yeah, that bit got me when I left the cinema. I was like, there's two things that really hit me. Because it felt like Inception all of a sudden. It felt like watching Inception after the fact. I was like, what was real? Because the guy, when he has the sign stolen, the kids take it away and beat him up. And that's one of the first signs of, you know, the start of his bad day that breaks him, so to speak. The guy goes, you know, just give us back the sign. He's like, why would anybody steal a sign? Like, yeah, why would anybody steal a sign? It seems so rational for him to say it at that point. It stuck with me afterwards, going, oh my god, maybe he did steal a sign, maybe there was no kids, maybe that was again his view of society and seeing himself as a victim when he wasn't. There's also a scene around that time early in the film where he's outside upset in an alleyway by a dumpster kicking garbage, and it seems weird and out of place. Like, it's to show his frustration. Was he kicking garbage? Or is that just what we saw? Because from his point of view, he was taking out his frustration in an alley by kicking garbage. Is there any chance that was what he viewed as garbage that he was kicking? And it could have been a person or anything else.
Yeah, because like we have the motion, the part where he seemingly does the first act of violence, which is on the subway, where it has the three kind of Wayne Industry guys coming, Wayne Enterprise guys coming in and causing trouble to the one of the passengers, and then turning on him. They sing a song, which is "Send in the Clowns," which seems really, like, in the context in which it's played, it seems okay. It seems like, yeah, that's, you know, it's a weird thing to sing, but he's dressed in the clown makeup and everything, so it seems okay. Then the key moment happens where the delusion is broken, and them singing "Send in the Clowns" could just be a complete delusion that he brought up. They could have started on him, or like become aggressive, and then he just laughing and stuff could have freaked them out, and then he could have just turned around and just killed them all.
Yep.
Like, there might not have been proper provocation there from those three characters. Hence why everybody was like, they're nice people, they're great. You know, like, as in, you get the two stories there where it's just like, you've seen them as horrible people, and then you get everybody saying they were great people.
And you get the supporting glance of the one other person in that carriage, which is the setup. When those people get on, they start hassling a young lady, and she's looking over at him as though to kind of go, are you going to help? But when she gets up and leaves, she's also still looking at him in a very weird way. Is it that he was provoking trouble? Is this... we can't get into it for too long, but essentially, if you watch the film again with the eyes of how much of this is real and how much of this is not, and how much of this is his perception, which is then rounded off nicely towards the end of the film when he's talking about, you know, oh, what's so funny? And she says, what's so funny? He's like, you wouldn't get it. It's all a perspective movie. The whole thing is a perspective movie, and I think it's a masterpiece in that respect.
Yeah, no, it definitely has two lenses.
Yeah, which is incredibly enjoyable. Now, we can't skip over the good stuff, because one thing that Paul pointed out to me, to throw one back at you, we talked about this straight away. We both really liked the Tourette's style explanation for the laugh. Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job. In fact, maybe we don't need to go into how good a job Joaquin Phoenix did, other than to say that he did an amazing job.
I can't even say, from a fan of the Joker film, he played such a great gritty character that was like, I'll come back to the point, but he did a wonderful job, fantastic job.
And that's the thing. We could do a half hour just on how good Joaquin Phoenix was, from his dance moves to his characterization to everything.
The swinging from back and forth of good character to bad character.
Just incredible. Like, I've never seen somebody smile and cry at the same time. Maybe the end of I, Tonya, where Margot Robbie does a smile into a mirror. Hopefully we'll have a clip. This was that level of good. The Tourette's laugh, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It was genius. It was genius. And you were like, if you take it and you think about it in the context of all the other Jokers you now have, it's a mind blower there as well.
Yeah,
it's a mind melter. So it was an incredible move for the movie, but it's an incredible move for the character overall.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting thing, because they talk about how the laughter, he has cards to hand out when he laughs and stuff, and it says my laugh doesn't actually show what feelings I'm telling, which actually, if you think about it, for the Joker, that's a horrible thing. It means that every time he's laughing, he's actually like upset, or
he could be feeling almost anything.
So you have no, because with all the characters, with Mark Hamill's portrayal of the Joker in the animation, Heath Ledger, everything, the laugh is one of the most important things of this character. He always laughs. He laughs all the time. But if you take it in the context of, this isn't the emotion that he's actually portraying, is laughter or fun, it makes the Joker a weirder character, more unsettling character kind of thing.
It works on every level for this movie also, because it's one more brilliant, genius way of taking a Joker staple, the laugh, and taking it and saying, this character isn't in touch with their emotions in a conventional sense, but also they don't know how to connect and convey to the world around them. It works on every psychological and social level for the larger and smaller commentary that the film is making. Now, a lot of people go, "Oh, you're looking way too deep." I challenge that and say, whether or not they did this by accident, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, Joaquin Phoenix was in charge of most of his own dialogue practically." Sure, Todd Phillips was saying, we just turned on the camera and Joaquin would do his amazing thing. I don't care how they got there. I don't care if it was the editor or the director or the writer. Whatever caused this film to happen, the way it happened, it's worth it, because the end product works so well in every nuanced level and direction.
Yeah.
I think we maybe need to go on to some other people's negatives. What do you say?
I would just say one thing about the laugh again. We're throwing it back and forth. Patrick came up with the idea that the cards in which he gives out, which says my laughter is not does not per se my actual emotion. Patrick gave the genius idea that he printed them up himself. They're not actually a thing. It's actually just him laughing at the absurdity and cruelty of which is society.
It's another one of his jokes, so to speak. Also, there's again, before we move on, because I'm gonna throw back a compliment to Paul. You mentioned something about the genius of the Joker. What and where is that? And it is, the evolution is there. It's just at a more nascent stage. It's the start. But there's a definite, the more you think about it, there's a definite blurred line and lenses when it comes to how much of it was mock idiocy or mock lack of knowing. How smart or how ingenious was his broken mind, or the lens that he was showing us or showing himself to justify actions or to create situations. Like, it is impressive. Now, to give some fair credit to one of our often contributors, it was pointed out to me, and I had a long Twitter feud over it, that, okay, this is definitely a Scorsese homage film. There's definite Taxi Driver and King of Comedy overtones. If in nothing else, even the visuals. But particularly King of Comedy, the plot points of obsession with a person on TV. Robert De Niro is in both. I think what was thrown up is King of Comedy, a guy who's mentally affected, lives alone with his mother, wants to be a comedian. That's the same as the Joker. I throw all that out because it is the same as comparing a racehorse and a race car. They both race, they both go around tracks, but you tell me that the first thing you see when you look at a horse is a car. You don't. They're very, very different things. They have different motivations, different plot points. It has a different story. King of Comedy was about a guy who wanted to be famous.
Yeah.
The Joker is not a film about a guy who wanted to be famous.
No, my I was talking to Patrick about this. I watched it recently, very recently actually, because King of Comedy seems to be commentary on essentially the worship of celebrities. They have such a great life, I really would like that. That's, I would love that kind of thing. And then it also shows essentially the downfalls of celebrityness. You're constantly harassed by everybody. Everybody wants to be you. You got people turning up at your house. You got people calling you. You got people harassing you. Stalkers, everything like that. So it shows two levels. The Joker is just Joker. It's like the obsession with the TV show is just one part of. It's kind of his escape. Of his downtrodden life. But it's not the focus.
It's not his aim.
No. The mother thing is a whole different thing, which is I can go on quite a long about this recently, but it's got homages to Taxi Driver. It's got homages to a lot of Mean Street, New York movies. So you can it's apples to oranges. It's all fruit, but it's different.
Nicely put. And look, the person out there they know who they are. Rob, we'll talk to you about this offline, as they like to say. But because we're gonna start running out of time in the episode, there is one or two things that I really want to throw in quite quickly. The score is amazing, but the soundtrack is also brilliant. The movement when it comes to Joaquin Phoenix, outside of his acting, everybody is fixated with the dancing down the stairs. And it's because it is incredible. It's a great moment in cinema. It's going to go down in history as one of those moments.
Yeah.
It's not going away for a reason. No. It is incredible. Also, a lot of people are going, why after his first kill, so to speak, why is he moving so weirdly and what was that? I took that as a kind of a therapeutic centering of himself, maybe like a Tai Chi that he'd been taught in. He mentioned that he'd been in care before. Mm-hmm. So it might have been a coping mechanism to center himself because he tended to do it before he would do something else.
Yeah, I do think the Tai Chi thing is like him trying to get under control, and then the dancing is the part where it's him letting go,
his expression. And that's the natural flip from or transition from one to the other. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why people are saying it's not a good thing. It's a great thing.
So it really does show, because as you said, the Tai Chi thing is a self-control moment, whereas the dancing is kind of more free, more open. The transition from essentially shocked possibly by his first act to knowing what he's going to do, from controlling yourself to expressing yourself, to that the birth to who he is. And I guess there is something that it's quite morose to think about it, because one of the most violent parts in the whole film is in his apartment, where he kills a guy who was setting him up, the guy that sets him up with the gun and ends up losing him his job. Mm-hmm. He kills that guy in quite a brutal way. Yeah. But it's one of the few moments of where they try to inject that incredible tension, incredible violence, back to incredible tension, and then they throw in the little curveball of, well, is this supposed to be humorous now? There's the gentleman of diminished stature who can't reach the door to get out. Yeah. He can't get the door thing. Now, I felt that. I didn't giggle and I didn't laugh. The guy beside me laughed uproariously, and I was like, I feel weird that you're laughing right now, because this isn't funny. This is horrific. But I kind of understand that it was supposed to be a moment that would make you go, hey, I don't know how I feel. I think it, because I definitely get that, because I didn't laugh at that moment either. Yeah, I also felt weird with this kind of thing. But what I was doing was the brutal moment. I I really liked. I really liked the grittiness of this whole film. But the brutal moment of him killing, he stabs him in the eye. He's vicious. He's absolutely crazy, going straight for him and stuff. My partner that I was with was shocked at this moment, completely shocked. But that initial kind of like valve release of your man not being able to reach the door, she came out of it.
It managed to reset a little bit, or let the air out a little bit.
Yeah, kind of thing. So I completely understand that. But like for that whole scenario, I was just like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, as a Joker fan, I was just like, this is great. This is what the Joker does. Kind of thing. And then to have him also, the part that stood out to me the moment of that scene was, you've always been nice to me.
Yeah.
And he lets the guy go.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's like this weird fairness.
Yeah.
That we've seen in the Heath Ledger thing, as an Agents of Chaos kind of thing.
Yeah, true. And there's almost a Thanos moment to, or Thanos angle to it all, of like, this does deal with somebody who is obviously not hinged. You know, he's not perfectly straight. But it's not just freaking out anger. This is a guy who's hurt by society. He's ambiguous, and at no point does anybody out there please say that I'm defending this kind of action or saying, oh, you have sympathy for the Joker. No, it's not sympathy. It's that they don't play it one note. And it's things like that keep it being one note. Yeah. It's that kind of, well, I'm killing people right now, but I have my own weird moral code. I'm hurting, and I'm hurting others. It's not an excuse, but it is a character and a character description. And I get really, really upset when people, because I've seen it online where people are being torn apart for making points like that, going, oh my God, you sympathise with psychopaths. Yes. No, not at all.
It's weird because, like, I think if we were watching a film where it's essentially just a bad person becoming worse, no one would be interested in that.
That's it.
You'd be just like, this is a horrible film. Why would I watch essentially a psychopath? Like, the reason that we're interested in American Psycho is because it's the story of essentially getting into the mindset of that person and the violence and stuff. We never are like, he's a great guy.
Yeah, no.
They were never sympathizing with him. But so we always hate that character. Yeah. Whereas this, it flip-flops so much that you get conflicted a little bit until the moment is revealed, and then you're just like, nope. No, this is definitely when I say moment, I mean the key delusional break. Yeah. Then you go, shit, no, this could be all seen as him just being like psychologically broken and breaking and killing other people.
And it doesn't mean that you condone any actions by having sympathy for some parts of the scenario or situation that's being laid out in front of you.
No.
The idea that he would be distraught by a father that's shunning him, if that's how he feels at that time, being confused by the idea of what is real. Is my mother lying to me? Was she not lying to me? Who's lying to me? Am I lying to myself? That's the great thing about this. Everybody says this film holds a mirror up to society. It holds two mirrors up to society. One to society, his outlook at that, but the other side of that mirror is he is also a societal avatar, looking back at him and how we view ourselves, and how as society we're full of conflicted good, bad and others. And that's why it works. It works on so many different levels for me. I'm looking forward to every time I see it till I am bored of it.
Yeah, no,
I will watch this film many, many times, and I did not think that the minute it ended. The moment it ended, I remember saying to my wife, might be a while before we see that again.
Yeah, that's what I did as well.
And within 2 hours, I'd thought about it so much, I'm like, I actually want to go and see it again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's very much. I came out of the movie and just going, "Ooh, that was heavy. Yeah. That was intense." It made me the same feeling as when I watched Fury, the Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf tank movie.
See that, like, by the way, folks. See that.
I was like, "Oh, that was a lot. That was heavy kind of stuff." But as I started thinking about it more and more, and then got into the conversation with you, I was just like, "I need to watch this again."
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And a lot of people, a lot of the early bad reviews were people writing, well, it's like, it's a great film, but it's not for me because it didn't make me feel good, or I came out of it feeling. It is a great film for me because I literally walked out shoulders down, going, oh, I don't know about that now. I at no point was going, I don't know if that's art. I don't know if that's good cinema. I was going, I don't know if I'm feeling that in the right way, or I'm feeling the right way after it. But that's why it's powerful cinema, and that's why the 12 hours, the 24 hours, the 36 hours after it, I liked it more and more and more and more.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that great cinema is the fact that when I come out of certain movies, I have no feeling. I'm just like, that was a good movie, that was interesting kind of thing. But ones that have thought-provoking things are great films. Ones that bring me out in an emotional state, either, and I don't mean like I'm angry at the film because it's shit. I mean like I'm actually affected, going like, holy shit, that is heavy, or like, you know, man, that has really made me happy, and like, you know, inspirational and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hey, but
inspirational movies.
But it as in the great film makes us feel.
Yes,
you know,
that's what the essence of cinema is, to make you think and feel. And the best cinema makes you think and feel communally with others. And I definitely felt that this was a great film to see in the cinema with others.
Yeah,
because I was affected by, intrigued by, and had the experience enhanced by the feelings and reactions and just the tension or release of tension around me from others. It's not to get all, you know, crazy about it here. It's like it's great cinema or it's great art. I think it is. I think it's art. I don't know Todd Phillips. Everybody's like, oh, you talking about the guy from The Hangover? You know, I don't care if it was Gandhi that made it or if it was Elvis that made it. Todd Phillips and The Hangover, I'm going to go on record, not a Hangover fan at all. At all. This, I'm a fan. If whatever turns out his next film, if it turns out to be more of The Hangover, I'll be like, that's, you know, maybe that's what he does now. But if he does another one of these, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna start thinking of you the same way I think of one Chris Nolan, one Scorsese, one whatever. He's on my okay, do it again list.
Yeah,
do it again.
Let's see if you can rekindle this or recapture what you got in this.
Doesn't have to be the exact same thing, but you show me that level of art again, and you're gonna have a friend, and you're gonna have my money.
Because like it's a tough thing, because like one of the moments, like as I said, they were taking moments from the Joker origin story, and the one thing that I really really enjoyed that they took, because I'll go through some of the other ones in the past, but one that I really took, which was like which is just at the cusp of the delusion break, the key moment, is when he sits down and he's just like, I just had a bad day.
Yeah, and
it's the one time in which the character is just like, I just had a bad day, and you're just like, like for fans of the Joker, you know that's his whole thing, is everybody is one bad day away from being him, and like that was a key moment that I was just like, this is great, because it ramps up to just before that point, and then it like you're just like, holy shit, this is gonna get to a certain point, and then it like both barrels hit you with the one pillar in which his life is able to continue, in a very kind of caring way, which is the reveal of his mother's background and everything like that.
Yeah,
takes away that from his under's life, and it just destroys him, and he's just like, this is the one bad day, and from there you're just like, the box is opened. Yeah,
and the power is unleashed, whether you like it or not. It's a very negative power, but it is, when it comes to, he's a super villain, for God's sakes, it's not going to be a good power. It's going to be a bad one. So that had to be portrayed. I think that's one of the things about this movie, because it's so good and gets people so, not on side, but it makes them watch it from the lens of, okay, well, you know, there's something being said here. When he goes off into the negative end of the spectrum, I think people are a little bit more unsettled by it, and a little bit more, I don't know if I want, like, he was my protagonist a minute ago. He was my hero, or my whatever of the piece. He was the center of the piece. I don't know if I feel comfortable now. I think that's why it's important. As far as lenses on society, can you get any better scenes than when he is going to the place to get the records for his about his mum?
Oh yeah,
because he's trying to work out his own origin.
Yeah,
and the administrator guy is like, you know, you should consider getting help. You know, I'm just an administrator here. I quite literally am not a medical profession. But we're living in a world where non-medical professionals have to deal with you in a medical facility and suggest that you get help. And you're going to, and the Arthur character is like, yeah, well, you know, they essentially, he's alluding to what you already know. They cut the funding, so I'm now out here. I've been cut adrift by society for financial reasons or political reasons. Does that sound familiar to anybody else out there? Does that sound at all like the world we're living in now for so many people? Like, it's not funny anymore. It's not funny that we're watching things like that going, God, look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what's happening, more like. Sorry, off my soapbox now.
No. It's because that moment's also great because it's the slow turning of the key, the slow of like if I was going to say that I've had one bad day is the opening of the box. That is one moment of the turning of the key, which is when he's talking about the bad things that he's done.
Yeah,
he's not like he's behind a cage thing, and he's looking like an animal. Like he's got his eye, like he's the way that they kind of do it is his head is facing down and his eyes are up, so his eyes are like the biggest feature of his body, because it's obviously he's keeping his eye on the administrator,
on his prey,
and it feels like a predator. It feels like this is the start of essentially an like I'm not going to say an alpha, but like an apex predator kind of thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, but it's very unsettling. And then he goes like, I've done some horrible things and I feel nothing. And you're just like, okay, this is the turning of the key. And then he finds out about his mother, and then it's just like it tumbles in a way that it's just like you feel sorry a little bit for the character, but you forget that moment, and then it turns back into the horribleness that he becomes.
And the genius of having that be with the one character in the entire movie, that administrator, he's the purest, most he's the best. He represents what is the rest of the world too, because those people exist. Those people exist. The people who are doing tough jobs in very, very bad situations because they know they need to be done, and they're trying to do it to help. And have that be what he starts looking at as his prey almost.
Yeah.
It amplifies it all.
Especially with the olive branch. It's the one moment that I think we get. It's the one moment in which we get kind of someone kind of going, shit, are you okay?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to break up from those things, the
Easy.
points in which the Joker things, which is you have the first reveal of the Joker, which is on the TV show. That is one origin moment of the Joker as well, where he first appears on this talk show and kills a load of people. Then there's the one bad day, which is just fantastic. It's one of the linchpins in the Joker kind of storyline. And then there's the comedy, the failed comic who's not very funny, and everybody doesn't really get his jokes and that kind of stuff. The downtrodden one is very good. So I did like those parts. They did hit a few beats on the origin
and
trail.
They're from comic lore essentially. They are from comic canon.
So like I liked them, but they made them completely their own. We don't see his stand up for a while, but we're constantly reminded that he wants to be a comedian. And then one day we see it. Some of his jokes are can be seen as funny, but once again and then there are audiences laughing, but once again, is it in the lens of the fact that we're seeing people laughing at him, or are they laughing at his jokes? And then the pinnacle moment of this whole story comes down to him being invited on the show because he is so bad at the comedy. He's slagged by the host, Robert De Niro's character, and he's brought onto the show. There's a 2-point thing in this, which is it's the reveal. It's a reveal in the movie of this. This is he wants to be called the Joker, and then he's revealed onto the stage. That's also the reveal of the fully formed Joker.
Yeah,
the whole
it's not Arthur Fleck.
One of the curtains things, and he does the whole dance thing, and then he walks on stage. He is a different animal then.
Yep.
And you can tell perfectly, and it's the second that he comes on stage, you in your gut, you're just like, something's wrong. This is not right. Which
can I piggyback into that a little bit, because it's a smaller side point. I'm going to call one more thing out that you may not agree with, because I don't know if we've talked about this, but I'm going to say this for myself and myself alone, so Paul doesn't have to go down in flames with me. Robert De Niro was not the strongest part of the movie. In fact, Robert De Niro's performance was one of the weaker performances in the movie. So much so that if you watch it again, Mark Maron is in this movie for all 26 seconds maybe. Mark Maron is standing beside Robert De Niro, and seems more natural, more in tone with the scene that's happening, and carries it off. De Niro feels like it's De Niro playing in a film that he maybe doesn't know why he's in. I understand he's playing a campy TV host. He does fine. But when you have Joaquin Phoenix doing what he was doing, anybody who's not bringing their A game was standing out a mile. And that whole section, I think he was a weak link, because that, can you call me the Joker? I think Mark Maron was selling more of the completely natural reaction to all this of, this guy's nuts.
Yeah.
This guy's, what are we doing here? This is not good. Like, bad things could happen. This guy's all that in a look. Whereas Robert De Niro was like doing his, I'm Robert De Niro. Yeah. So
I do get that.
I'll take the bullet on that one though. Internet, please direct it at me.
I do have. Thank you very much. He's not in the scene in which he's up against Joker and not Arthur Fleck. I do have to agree. He is the weaker character, it's the weaker performance. But I don't know if that's a full-fledged thing. But my thing though is that there's an epic moment. The last thing that I think I'll probably talk about is the last joke. Actually, there's one other thing. The last joke, which is like, what do you guess if you guess downtrodden by society? What is this? You guess. You get me, basically. It's what do you do if you ignore... He says, which goes... Oh my god! I can't believe I've forgotten this. It's essentially he goes, what do you get when you're downtrodden by society? And it's like you get what you make, or kind of thing. You reap what you sow. Yeah. Kind of thing, and then he shoots the character. It's a very good moment. It's like he's telling. Originally, the joke was that he was going to kill himself, and then he realizes that that's not the thing. He takes down an avatar in which he sees him belonging. And then the one last point I'll say is the view of rich versus poor in the background as a subplot kind of thing is an interesting, where society takes on, this is someone fighting against the rich. This is, an avatar for the rich, all this kind of stuff. It's essentially they've taken a violent act and then spun it to something that is for their own means, as in for a principal political gain, which was still just wrapped in violence. And I really enjoyed that from that kind of outside protester point of view, that backdrop. I thought it was played well enough that these are not just people this is not just justified outrage, eat the rich. This is not, because we all know that there's two sides to all of that as well. There's a extreme negativity and extreme downside, but there's also an extremely important principled message wrapped up in all of the balaclavas, etc. And that nuance wasn't lost, and that nuance can't be lost, because I don't think you can ever talk about those things and have them seem either as just a positive or just a negative, because then you're doing them a complete disservice. And to have him stand up on the hood of the car at the end, that's what I was going to say. It's a weird crowning moment for him and the downtrodden of society with him, and you're just like, but it seems, but these people are deifying an absolute, a murderer. Yeah. So there's a real sense of, real. Ugh. Yeah, it's the whole thing where it's like, as we've seen in the subplot, it's it's rich versus poor stuff, and then it goes all the way up to the moment where he goes, I killed them, and I didn't kill them for any political reasons. There's no political reasons at it at all. I just killed them, and you're just like, why? Society should be absolutely horribly conflicted. This is we were all about rich versus poor, and now it's just some psycho who just killed them. Yeah. But at the end, when they're all lifting him up and praising him and stuff like that, it's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling already from the rich versus the poor part, because it's a violent act, and you're just like, no violent act should be ever, But the turn to celebrity for his villain, his villain became the celebrity before he ever became the villain. So that, it's... Hey, look, we can talk about how nuanced this film is all night. If you've seen it, you know what we're talking about. You may agree or disagree. If you haven't seen it and you've watched this, we haven't ruined anything. You don't know the story. You know some story plot points and maybe a few beats. See it. Also, hear it. Don't watch this on anything with a bad sound system. Sound is a huge part of any film. It's a massive, massive part of this. I think, are we going into our own end game here? Yeah, no, I think so. Okay, well...
I'd love to hear if you all agree or disagree. Rob, I'd love to see the first comment on YouTube from you, because we all know you think it's just a remake of the King comedy. It isn't. He's wrong. So comment down below.
Yep.
If you enjoyed this, please consider giving it a like. If this isn't our usual stuff, this is a bit longer and it's a bit more of a passion piece. But have a look at our video section. See what we do. If you like that sort of stuff, hit a little subscribe for us. And I'd like to throw it to you for the final words in this, since you are the one that was closer to Joker to begin with.
It deserves the hype in which it's got.
Ooh, well said.
That's all I got. It deserves the hype. It deserves the positive hype, as in this is a great movie. It's very well portrayed. It's mentally draining to watch, but that's a good thing because it means that it's actually touching nerves and stuff like that. Yeah, I can't say enough about it, and I can't wait to watch it again. And yeah, Rob's wrong.
Hey, and on that note, I've been Patrick,
and I've been Paul,
and we've been Hero Side.